Okay, today I'm going to do a test. I'm going to do a dual recording. I've got both cameras mounted in the car. I'm testing the Nikon Mission 170, and I'm testing it with a Sony FDR FX or AX33. Sorry, FDR AX33. I've got the AX33 mounted up in my high windshield suction cup mount, and I've got the Nikon mounted on the dash. Today is a really nice day for shooting, and I just happened to plan on making a trip into my favorite electronics shop in Vancouver. I hope that they're open today. It's Christmas Eve, and they're not answering their phone, but their website says they're open. So I'm hoping that they're open today, because I really would like to buy myself that Class A single-ended 8-watt configurable triode or pentrode or ultralinear, depending on configuration, single-ended amplifier kit, the expensive one. After building the entry-level kit and enjoying the sound so much, so basically, I'm going to drive in to town, and I'm going to film it in 4K on the Sony and on the Nikon, and 1080 on my existing old dash cam that I've had for several years. And then on the return trip, which I might take a different route back, but anyway, on the return trip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Nikon into ultra-lapse mode, and I can, pick the different speeds. I'll probably pick 10 times. That's a pretty good speed. And then what I'll do is I'll take the footage from my existing dash cam, and I'll take the footage from my Sony 4K, and I will ultralapse them in the computer. So I will speed them up 10 times. Now, of course, this video is going to be rendered out at 4K. So the Sony, when it's ultralapsed, will definitely be the clear winner, because it will be ultra-lapsed at 4K. The other two cameras are only 1080p. The Nikon goes into 1080p mode when it's in what they call super-lapse mode or ultra-lapse. Same thing, right? Super-lapse, ultra-lapse, it's saying the same thing. It's a time lapse, but it's not as long a duration. Typically, a time lapse is one photo every second, or every 2 seconds, or every 5 seconds, etc., over a longer period of time. Whereas an ultra-lapse is a photo based on the camera moving. And there's no time interval for an ultra-lapse or a super-lapse. It's based on, there's still a time interval involved, but it's based on speeding up time, basically, compressing time. It's either taking 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 frames a second, or taking your standard 30 frames and speeding it up in the computer. That is how you create an ultra-lapse or a super-lapse. And anyway, it'll be interesting to see how the three differ when I put the Nikon in super-lapse mode. Because the neat thing about that camera is, well, first of all, it changes the view from the lens. It's no longer as wide of a view, so it's going to narrow down the field of view, and it also turns on the internal image stabilization, which was kind of neat when I first tested it the first time, where I could actually see the dash was moving on the car. Like it was, every time I went around a corner, it was trying to keep the image still, and you see the dash would move. So that could be a little interesting, the way that it operates compared to what I get off the other cameras. But I'm interested to see how the video quality differs, especially when I'm comparing the old, I guess it's 4 or 5 years old now, the Ojo cam. I've had it for quite a while. It'd be interesting to see how the image compares being superlapsed in the camera directly as opposed to being done after the fact on the computer. At least comparing the two 1080 pictures. Now again, if you're watching it in 4K, it's going to be scaled up. So I'll be scaling it up to a 4K image, but it's going to be starting as a 1080 image on the return trip. Here we are going through the George Massey Tunnel. This tunnel is going to be replaced with a bridge, which is another dumb thing that the government's doing. Nobody wants it, but politicians do. They're going to replace this tunnel that goes under the Fraser River with a 10-lane bridge that goes over top. And then every time you cross the bridge, it'll be, probably $5 every time you cross by the time they get done with it, like they've done with all the other bridges that they've built in the last 10 years. They put up these suspension bridges, and then when we do get snow, we get ice bombs dropping on the cars, which is what happened in this last snowfall we had there a week or so ago. A bunch of people had their windshields smashed when chunks of ice fell off the cables on the bridges. They're going to put another cable stayed bridge in here, and I bet you they won't learn from the mistakes of the last two. We'll have 3 bridges that they completely close and don't let any traffic in. Try explaining that to your boss when you can't make it to work, and you tell your boss, well, sorry, I can't make it in today because they've closed the bridge because there's ice bombs falling. Yeah, use that one as an excuse and see how far you get. Okay, a little bit of a delay. They have to actually get it for me. The only one they had was one that was already built. So I gotta kill some time here and come back in a couple of hours. So I figured, okay, I'll do the superlapse portion of this movie now. bye.